Creek Lake Campground was a popular destination for nature enthusiasts. Nestled deep within an ancient forest, the lake promised tranquility and the perfect escape from the daily grind. This particular summer, the Wilson family, comprising Jim, his wife Linda, and their two children, Megan and Tommy, decided to spend a week camping by the lake. As they arrived, the sun was beginning its descent, casting long shadows across the dense canopy. The air was filled with the scent of pine and the distant sound of birds chirping. Excitedly, the family unpacked their gear and set up camp near the lake's edge, unaware of the dark history that shrouded the area. That first night, they sat around a crackling campfire, roasting marshmallows and sharing stories. The lake's surface reflected the full moon, creating an ethereal glow. Everything seemed perfect until Megan, the youngest, mentioned seeing a shadowy figure near the tree line. "Probably just an animal," Jim reassured her, though he couldn't shake off the eerie feeling that crept up his spine. They decided to call it a night, hoping the fresh air would grant them peaceful sleep. As the family settled into their tent, the wind picked up, causing the trees to sway and rustle. Linda woke up suddenly, convinced she heard whispering outside. She listened intently, but the sound stopped as abruptly as it began. She chalked it up to her imagination and tried to go back to sleep. But the whispers returned, faint but distinct, as if someone, or something, was trying to communicate with her. She held her breath, too scared to move. Eventually, the whispers ceased, and she fell into a restless slumber. The next morning, while exploring the forest, Tommy stumbled upon an old, weathered journal buried under a pile of leaves. The leather cover was cracked, and the pages were yellowed with age. Intrigued, he brought it back to the campsite. The journal belonged to a man named Daniel Harris, who wrote about his experiences living near Hollow Creek Lake in the early 1900s. His entries became increasingly frantic, detailing strange occurrences and sightings of a ghostly figure near the lake. The final entry was a chilling warning: "Beware the spirit of Hollow Creek. She seeks vengeance for her untimely death." That evening, the family decided to visit the local town to gather more information. At the town's small historical society, they learned about the legend of Hollow Creek Lake. The curator, an elderly woman named Mrs. Turner, shared the tragic tale. In the late 1800s, a young woman named Emily Carter lived near the lake. She was known for her beauty and kindness. One fateful summer, she disappeared without a trace. Her body was found weeks later, floating in the lake. It was rumored that she was murdered by a jealous suitor, but no one was ever brought to justice. Since then, many campers had reported seeing her ghost wandering the woods, seeking revenge on those who dared to disturb her resting place. Back at the campsite, the Wilson family couldn't shake off the unease the story had brought. That night, as they huddled around the campfire, a thick fog rolled in from the lake, obscuring their surroundings. Suddenly, Megan pointed towards the water, her face pale with fear. There, illuminated by the moonlight, stood a faint, ghostly figure. It was a woman in Victorian-era clothing, her face twisted in sorrow. The temperature dropped dramatically, and the air felt heavy. Jim grabbed a flashlight and shone it towards the figure, but it vanished as quickly as it appeared. Frightened and unsure of what to do, the family retreated to their tent, locking themselves inside. Linda clutched the old journal, hoping to find some clue on how to appease the restless spirit. They read through the entries, trying to understand Emily's torment and how they could help her find peace. The journal mentioned an old oak tree near the lake, under which Emily was said to have been buried in an unmarked grave. Desperate, the family decided to find the tree and perform a small ceremony in the hopes of laying Emily's spirit to rest. Armed with candles and flowers, the family ventured out to find the old oak tree. The fog was thicker than ever, and the air was eerily silent. After what felt like an eternity, they found the tree, its massive roots partially exposed and surrounded by a circle of stones. They placed the candles around the tree and laid the flowers at its base. Linda read a prayer from the journal, asking for Emily's forgiveness and for her spirit to find peace. As she finished, a sudden gust of wind extinguished the candles, and the fog began to lift. For a moment, They thought they saw Emily's figure near the tree, smiling softly before fading away. The next morning, the lake was calm and peaceful. The oppressive atmosphere had lifted, replaced by a sense of tranquility. The family felt a profound sense of relief, believing that Emily's spirit had finally found rest. They spent the rest of their vacation enjoying the natural beauty of Hollow Creek Lake, making new, happier memories. The eerie occurrences ceased, and the family left the campground with a deep appreciation for the history and mysteries of the area. The haunting at Hollow Creek Lake was an experience the Wilson family would never forget. It taught them the importance of respecting the past and the spirits that linger in places touched by tragedy. As they drove away from the campground, they felt a sense of closure, knowing they had helped bring peace to a tormented soul. And so, as you plan your next summer adventure, remember the story of Hollow Creek Lake. The past is never truly gone, and sometimes it reaches out to remind us of its presence.
Thank you for watching Midnight Knocks. If you enjoyed our horror stories, please give this video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button for more spine-chilling tales. Don't forget to check out our other videos for more eerie adventures. Until next time, stay spooky.